How can you get from this to that? How do you organize your storage containers? For that matter, how do you get more storage in the first place? GoodGuysFree here with all the answers. Well, there's always more to learn, so if you find that I missed something, please comment. Let's start with what to do in early game. If you're an experienced traveler, you can use the chapters to skip ahead, but as we all know, there's always another thing we didn't know about NoMansSky, right? Okay, in early game, you are short of inventory space. You have just you and your ship. As soon as you can, when you have enough nanites, go to the anomaly and get the blueprint for the teleport receiver. This will allow you to use materials in your ship's inventory from a longer distance and will allow you to move stuff to and from the ship's inventory from greater distances. Without it, the range is about 50 U. With it, it's 150 U. Next, you need to consider how to increase your available inventory slots. Well, my previous video reminded players that you can upgrade your suit in the space station and you can summon the anomaly in every system you didn't visit yet and get another inventory slot. Only problem is it costs and the price keeps going up. And when your inventory is growing but almost full, it's very hard to keep it in any kind of order. Many viewers suggested you go to the space station and use navigation data to buy suit upgrade charts. These will direct you to a drop pod on a planet. To fix the pod and get a free inventory slot upgrade, prepare 10 sodium nitrate, 1 carbon nanotubes, and 1 antimatter casing. Much cheaper than the station and anomaly. Once you upgrade it, use the next chart from that pod to ensure it finds a different drop pod. There are plenty of drop pods on most planets, so knock yourself out. And by the way, as your inventory space grows, remember you can use these buttons to expand the view, so you can see the entire suit inventory without need to scroll. What about your ship? Yeah, what about it? Well, getting extra inventory slots for your ship is very expensive, unless you change your difficulty settings, but that's not why we're here. But there's another thing you can do. Again, thanks to the many viewers who suggested these things. You can buy a cheap shuttle ship and use it as portable storage. It costs less than upgrading your ship's inventory usually, and you can summon your ship next to you and use the content. When you took your stuff or stored what you wanted, just enter the other ship and that will switch back to it. On space stations, this is free. You summon and the ship is replaced, and you can later replace it again by your main ship. And you can always use more than one such cargo ship in this way. You don't have to fly it. What's the downside? It's hard to summon during on-foot battle, of course. You need a place you can land the ship, so very steep mountains are a problem, and you probably need to maintain the launch thrusters with fuel if you're summoning to a planet's surface. And as you get more inventory space, it tends to become a mess, and you don't know where you put what. Another thing you can do that is even more restrictive, but will give you a lot of extra portable storage. Exocraft. You can build an Exocraft geobay on your base and then build an Exocraft summoning station. The nice thing about this station is that it's portable. You can pick it up and it takes 1 suit inventory slot. You can place it on a planet's surface and summon the Exocraft to you. If you use the Colossus, it has the colossal size cargo hold. The downside? You can't summon it to the space station or to the anomaly, and there's a tendency to forget to pick up the summoning station. Be careful of that. Also, when you have a freighter, you can't summon the Exocraft to the freighter, not without some nasty glitch building. If you're really pressed for inventory space, you can always construct a nutrient processor. They have a nutrient storage that you can access and store many materials that are used for cooking. It is just as portable as a portable refiner. If you can place a portable refiner somewhere, you can place a nutrient processor. Again, not on the space station and not on the anomaly, and in your freighter, you need to construct a nutrient processor room, which requires you to obtain salvaged frigate modules to get the blueprints, etc. And if you're really pressed for space, there's the Exoskiff, which I mentioned in my other video, on your screen. Storage containers are awesome. If you follow the game's quest lines, you will get the blueprint for the first of 10 storage containers. You can place them on your base and another instance in any other base, and when you interact with it, the stuff in the container is accessible from any base you place another instance of the container. Plenty of downsides, of course. They're big. I mean really big. You can use glitch building to build smaller version of them, but let's not go there for now. They take power. They are only accessible by physically interacting with them. Unless you have a freighter with, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Another downside, which is shared among all inventories, they become a serious mess. So get a freighter and install the storage containers on your freighter, and you have access to the same contents from your freighter. If you're in the freighter, you automatically use stuff from the containers. And if you also have a matter beam, then you can use the contents of the storage containers from any planet in the star system that your freighter is in. And here's the catch. Getting the matter beam installed is costly in salvaged frigate modules. Getting the blueprints for the storage containers is costly in salvaged frigate modules. And it's not like salvaged frigate modules are falling on you like raindrops. They're not so easy to come by. I'm planning on doing a video specifically on that. Comment if you want to see such a video. But for now, the best way is to grind derelict freighters. Yes, there are other ways, like shooting freighters, which hurts your local reputation and brings sentinel interceptors, and sending frigates on expeditions. They sometimes bring back such modules. Once you have the matter beam installed, life's good. You summon your freighter to the system you're in, and you can just access the freighter's storage boxes from anywhere you like. Just like that. Luckily, the Exocraft Materializer Room blueprints can be obtained in the space anomaly from the Construction Research Station for 1 salvage data, but you'll have to already have purchased the Exocraft Summoning Station for 12 salvage data and the Roamer Geobay for 4. Once you have installed the Orbital Exocraft Summoning Room, now you don't even need the Portable Summoning Station and you no longer find yourself littering the universe with summoning stations. Sounds great, right? Well, there is the issue of being able to warp your freighter into red, green, blue, and soon purple systems. You need higher class warp drives for your freighter for this, and that is, you guessed, costly in salvaged frigate modules. Another downside, like I keep saying, this all becomes one huge mess. Unless you create a system for yourself, or you do like I do, adopt the use of a system invented by others. So most storage systems I have seen in other creators' videos are pretty much the same. Here's what I use, and I won't lie, it's a little bit of work to organize and a little bit of work to keep it when it's the suit inventory. Storage containers, on the other hand, have this neat feature. When you use the quick menu to send something to the storage containers, it'll go to the first place that has a resource of the same type. So if you use the control to divide a stack of resources and place together multiple instances of smaller stacks, then sending stuff to the containers will fill these as you send more and more. And by the way, you can rename your containers, place icons, and change the text color. Oh, and your suit behaves similarly when you mine or collect stuff. I know you want to know about the suit first, but you need spare space in the suit to make an organization method work. And for that you probably need to free up space. So let's start with the containers. The concept is simple. Install all 10 containers on your freighter. Assign a color of resources to each container from numbers 1 through 9. Rename the containers to the names of the color of the resources, like this. I will show how to make it colorful in a few moments. Rename container 0 to incoming or something similar. Next, start moving some items around so that the reds container only has red items. I like to place stuff vertically. Make sure you divide the stacks so that you have a large column of the same kind of resource with small but not tiny amounts in each slot. Repeat this for every resource type, and now when you send one of these types of resources to the containers, they will go to one of the existing stacks, and only stuff that you didn't have yet will appear in the first container, the incoming container. And you will need to organize these later when you notice them. Now, let's see about renaming and coloring. To rename a container, just use the pen icon to start typing a new name. But we also want to make them colorful. To make them colorful, we use something that looks a bit like HTML but isn't. It uses a special set of words in brackets, which causes the text to be colored. Then your text comes, and then you need to close it with a slash in brackets. The trick is which words to use. I've listed here, and in the description, the shortest word you can use for each color. Pause here to screenshot if you wish. The description also has links to where I found this information and some other videos that I learned from. It's also possible to add an icon using a similar method, using the word IMG in brackets, then a special word to choose an icon, followed by an open and closed bracket. Here are all the words and icons they generate. Again, pause here if you wish to screenshot, or use the link in the description to find this sheet at the source. The idea with the suit is almost the same, but since it's only a single container, so to speak, we need to be a little smart about it. We'll create 2 stacks of the resources we really need, probably stuff we use to recharge hazard protection and other rechargeable tech. If you can place all you need from the bottom, then everything that's new, that you didn't have before, will appear on top, and you'll know you need to reorganize. If you have 2 stacks of carbon down at the bottom of the suit inventory, and you suddenly see some carbon on top, that's overflow. And you can send it to your containers when possible. The rest works like the container, except we use smaller number of inventory slots per resource, and they're all together in the suit. That's it. It's taken me a while to get used to this system, but it works well for me. Now my problem is the work it takes to implement this in existing save files that I want to keep playing. Haha. Anyway, I really want to hear how this works for you. Did you try? How did it go? Have additional suggestions? Please comment. As always, if you found this useful, hit like and consider subscribing. GoodGuysFree here, and I'll see you again soon.